Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do another video for you guys and gals. Let me get a sip of my water first. A beautiful radio voice going, and let's talk about this. Yes, that scrape on the top of my head is almost healing, but it's still going to be in the videos for a couple more days. All right, let's talk a little bit about LDL-c. This is kind of a big deal because, as I have said a number of times, we've seen some so-called fitness experts out there who their blood work, they show excessively high LDL-c levels to where medical doctors have chimed in. Even if they're an MD, keep in mind they're usually quacks. Even other medical doctors chime in and go, yeah, this is unacceptable. That is pretty much a death sentence for your LDL to be that as high as it is sometimes. But even when it's only at a normal level to where a doctor would prescribe meds, we're not even talking those extreme levels from some of these other people like Sean Baker and stuff. Ludicrous. Something I've seen a trend of, and I'm reminded of it because I just saw it yesterday on my social media, another trainer on there, and then other trainers chiming in, and this individual, you know, they were mentioning their cholesterol, and then I saw their blood work, they listed it underneath. And I'm not gonna say their name or get into what their numbers were, but it's something I've seen happen multiple times. You know, and they're a little worried. They're like, their doctor told them they wanted them on a statin immediately. And for me, when I saw the number that was there personally, I would say if my number came back like that, I would be on Lipitor that day. I would be talking to my doctor, let's get a script, let's get it filled, let's get it today. Because with the history of heart disease in my family, and my age, I'm 47, my father's had at least 4 heart attacks. My mother died of cardiovascular events when she was my age. Okay, kind of a big deal. I just lost a close family member in his 40s to heart disease in the same sort of situation. This is a big deal. And the problem is that when this comes up, they're like, but my lifestyle is good. And it's like, but clearly your lifestyle is not. And this is what people don't get. I don't care that you work out. I don't care that you do cardio. I don't care that you're even eating, you know, some vegetables and stuff. If your LDL is well above 100, you don't have a good lifestyle, okay? And I hate to have to tell that to people, but your doctors will tell you the same thing. And if you're not willing to change whatever you're doing in your lifestyle that's causing it, they need to put you on a statin, because at that level, that is risk. And people need to understand that. When your LDL-c is above 100, doctors are going to want to give you a statin, and it's actually the right thing to do. I ran into the same thing with a close family member of mine. They sent me something like, I came back at 101 and my doctor wants to put me on a statin. I don't think that's appropriate. I'm like, you're at 101. A female member of my family, like, you're at 101. What, like, look at our family history. When you look at our family history, you're above 100. She's like, but 1 point. I'm like, yes, because that 100, they have it there for a reason. Okay. Ideally, if you're a cardiac patient, they want you under 70. People get that? They're like, how are we supposed to get that low? And people are like, well, it's genetic. No, it's not genetic. It's your lifestyle. Yes, some people are going to be more prone than others, but you can't ignore this. And the fitness industry has a bad habit of that. All their other health markers look pretty good, but man, that LDL will be up. And they're like, I don't get it. I work out. I'm like, I can look at your diet and tell you why your LDL is up. Could it be that steak you eat every day? I'm just saying. Okay? Could it be the coconut oil you're adding to your diet? I mean, people have these ideas, or like they think that these are necessarily healthy things. These are the saturated fats that impact this. You know, the same person like, well, I eat a dozen eggs every day. I'm like, well, that's why your LDL's up. Okay? If you are genetically prone to a bad lipid profile, you can't eat a dozen eggs a day. I'm sorry. Yes, there are other people who can do it and be okay. That's a genetic predisposition to be good there. But no one has an elevated LDL purely due to genetics. It is still your lifestyle. They're like, but eggs are healthy. Small amount of eggs are healthy, but if you are prone to this problem, the saturated fat in them does raise LDL. But I'm not talking about the dietary cholesterol. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking specifically about saturated fats. And specifically, those are the ones that get you. The ones in meat, coconut oil and palm oil has definitely been found to do it in the lab. It's been seen straight up in clinical trials. Palm oil does it. Red meat will do it. I don't care whether it's steak or pork. If the saturated fat's high enough, eggs will do it. Butter does it in the lab. The only dairy that doesn't is whole dairy. So we're talking milk, yogurt. Those things don't affect it. They seem to be neutral. But there seems to be something different going on with like the calcium mixed with it and everything. Once you make butter, guess what happens? It is no longer the same substance. So when you add 500 calories, or it doesn't have to be much, 300 calories of dairy fat in the form of butter versus whole milk, and it's been looked at, it does not produce the same effect on your blood work. It is very different. So in this case, yes, context matters. It's not just the fat, it's the matrix of the food. Okay? This is still lifestyle, people. You have a bad lifestyle. You eat too much saturated fat in a form that negatively elevates your LDL. Okay? And you can't ignore that. And if someone says, well, I'm not giving that up, then you're going to need to go on a statin. And everyone wants to act like the statin's a big deal. And it's like, okay, you're comparing it to the elevated cholesterol. Which one do you think is worse? It's a reason the doctors are prescribing them. And it's not because they just want to give you a med to hurt you. They're looking out for your health, and that's standard procedure, and it does work. But it's because people refuse to change their lifestyle. Do people not get that? Doctors have to prescribe these things because people refuse to change their lifestyle. They're like, well, I need the red meat to lift. And it's like, no, you don't. I do just fine on chicken breast and tofu. You don't see me walking around with a 120 LDL-c right now either, though. Okay? That's the problem. And people don't seem to grasp that. They're like, but that's healthy, but it's not healthy. And the doctors and experts have told you this for years and years. Like, why is everyone so resistant to this? And then when they see their blood work, they go, I don't get it. My lifestyle is healthy. Well, no, because you bought into this other thing that said that these certain forms of saturated fat are perfectly fine in high amounts, and they're clearly not. It's reflected in your blood work. And before someone says, but the LDL-c, this has been heavily researched. We pretty much have scientific consensus on this one. The evidence is robust, to say the least. And so you can't just arbitrarily say, well, that's been overhyped. No, it hasn't. Again, the data is very, very clear on that elevated LDL. It is what causes atherosclerosis. Okay? Anything above 70 technically causes atherosclerosis. It's just that at 70, it's like, well, you're not going to have a heart attack till you're 85. Okay, so if your lipids are under 100 and you haven't had a heart attack yet, the atherosclerosis from it probably isn't going to hit you till you're 80 plus. Okay, that's why. Doesn't mean it's not still causing it. It's 70 or lower is when they find that there's zero occurs. That will completely stop all growth of atherosclerosis. This is what the doctors and the researchers are finding in the lab. Okay, but you can't ignore this stuff, people. It's ridiculous. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.